Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about a digital signature in e-commerce. That is in the concept of security in web applications. That means it is a technology that we use in security of the resources over the web, and it is basically used for the purpose of authentication and non-repudiation. So let's proceed with it. So if we are talking about the content that we are going to discuss about is the introduction of digital signature. Why we use digital signature, its basic requirements, how the technology of digital signature works, what is its approach, the algorithm used for digital signature, its challenges and opportunities, and its applications, its drawbacks, and then we'll conclude our session. So let's proceed with the introduction. As I have told, it is used for the authentication purpose. Digital signature, as you आपने देखा होगा in the normal life when you sign some document, so that is used to identify, authenticate that it is the document received from the genuine user, genuine owner of the document. And for the same purpose, we are using digital signature in the web resources. So it is the best solution to authenticate a particular user during the communication process. So it is nothing but a piece of information that is attached with the information that you are communicating with the other user, and it gives the content and the identity of the owner of the document. That means it tells the recipient of the document that the document is received from the valid owner of the document who has sent it. So what actually is digital signature? Digital signature is a hash value of the message that you want to send, and when it is encrypted with the private key of the person, it becomes digital signature of that document. That means फॉर ए पर्टिकुलर डॉक्यूमेंट, आपको कोई डॉक्यूमेंट भेजना है तो आप उस डॉक्यूमेंट की एक पर्टिकुलर एल्गोरिथम यूज करके एक हैश वैल्यू फाइंड आउट कर लोगे, एंड दैट वैल्यू विल बी ट्रीटेड एज द डिजिटल सिग्नेचर फॉर दैट डॉक्यूमेंट. तो डिजिटल सिग्नेचर ऑफ ए पर्सन देयरफॉर वेरीज फ्रॉम डॉक्यूमेंट टू डॉक्यूमेंट, बिकॉज आप डॉक्यूमेंट के अंदर जो इंफॉर्मेशन है उससे डिजिटल सिग्नेचर को ऑब्टेन कर रहे हो using a particular algorithm. So it depends upon the content of the document, and thus it varies from document to document, thus ensuring authenticity of each word of that document. Whatever is written in that document will be authenticated with the help of that digital signature, because the digital signature, when received by the receiver, if it changes, that means the data is from a non-authorized user, and it can be a misleading information. In digital signature, we use public key cryptography because it is known to everyone, so it is used for the verification of the user who has sent it. It is not used for encryption or security. It does gives usage for the authentication purpose only. Now, why we use digital signature? We use digital signature as we are discussing from the start, that to provide authenticity of the documents, to provide integrity of the documents, and to provide non-repudiation to the documents. Authenticity means that the document that is received by the receiver is from a valid authorized user. Integrity means that the whatever information is sent from the user is intact. That means it has not been altered in between the communication path, in between the network. And the third one is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation means the sender of the document cannot deny that he has not sent the document. So this is why we use digital signature. So to use the internet as the safe and secure medium for e-commerce and e-governance, we use digital signature. Then the basic requirements are there. So basic requirements for the digital signature. First one is private key. The private key is the one which is accessible to the sender of the document, which signs the document with digital signature. It is used to generate the digital signature which is then attached to the message. That means by using the private key, digital signature for the document that is to be sent is generated. Then comes public key. As the public key is available to all those who receive the signed message, so this key is used for the verification of the digital signature at the receiving end. Then a digital signature certificate. If a particular user is the subscriber of a private key and a public key pair, makes the public key available to all who are intended to receive the message from the subscriber. That means whoever the sender is, he has to register with two keys with the certificate authority. One is the private key and one is the public key. And the public key is to be provided to all who are intended to receive the messages, and private key is used to generate the digital signatures. But in case of any dispute between the two sides, अगर सेंडर और बीच रिसीवर के बीच में कोई डिस्प्यूट हो जाता है, तो उस टाइम पे देयर मस्ट बी ए certification authority who can certify the keys of the sender, that this is the key used for the digital signature and this is the key used for verification of the digital signature, and these are the authenticated keys for the particular XYZ user. So this is the actual task of the digital signature certificate, to ensure if some dispute arises between the sender and receiver, that the keys that are used for the digital signature and the authentication of the message are intact for the particular user. So this is how the digital signature works, the whole process. That is the first part. It is divided basically in three phases. First phase is the creation of the digital signature. Second one is the transmission of the message from sender to the receiver. And when the message is received by the receiver, third phase starts, that is digital signature verification. And if the signature is verified, then the document is authenticated. It is non-repudiated document. So the sender sends the original message, that is the plain text. Then sender uses its private key to generate the digital signature, and it is appended with the original message. That means original message along with the digital signature is sent over the network to the receiver. Receiver receives the original message and the digital signature, where it uses the public key of the sender to verify the digital signature, and if it is verified, the document received is authenticated, and if it is not verified, then the signature is invalid, and the document is not intact. That means it has been altered or modified within the network. So this is the particular scenario of the usage of digital signature algorithm, in which it is the phase one phase is the signing and the another phase is the verification phase. So in this, the data is fed to a hash function which generates the hash of a particular data, and that hash is then fed to the private key of the sender. That is, it is the hash function that is encrypted using the private key, and the digital signature is generated. Along with the digital signature, the certificate is also attached to the data. That means along with original data, one is the signature and another is the digital signature certificate is attached, and then we obtain the digitally signed data, and this digitally signed data is then sent over the network, and when received, verification process starts, where data and signature are separated from one another, and on data hash function is applied. Similar hash function is applied which will generate the hash of that message, and on the digital signature received, the receiver uses the public key to decrypt the signature and receives the hash, original hash of the digital signature hash value. And if the hash value obtained from the data and the hash value obtained from the signature both are equal, it means the signature is verified and data is authenticated. This is the digital signature algorithms concept, and it uses secure hash algorithm to generate the hash value of a message. So the algorithm works for any input message that is less than 2 raised to power 64 bits, and when the hash is generated, it is a message digest of 160 bits in length. This hash algorithm is designed to be computationally infeasible to obtain the original message given its message digest. That means this algorithm is designed in such a way that from the message digest that is generated using the hash algorithm, original message cannot be obtained by unauthorized users. Also, there is not a possibility of generating the same message digest for two different messages. That means if the message is same and you are applying the algorithm, every time the same message digest will be produced. And if the message different message is there, then the message digest will be different, obviously. So this is particularly the feature of digital signatures secure hash algorithm, where also the keys are fed to hash function to encrypt the hash values generated from the hash algorithm. So this is public key certification scenario that is shown that if a particular user is interacting with some another user, then it has to obtain the certificates from the certification authority, and for that the user generated its public private key pair, and then it uses its private public key, and also the user's name and other credentials are sent to the certification authority for a certificate request. I mean, these are fed to the certification authority. The user certificate is obtained, where it contains the serial number, the username, user's email address, user's public key, certificate authority's name, certificate class, its validity, and the digital signature of the certificate authority. And when the certificate is prepared for the particular user, it is published in the database of the certificate authority, from where it can be verified at any moment of time if some dispute arises in between the sender and the receiver. And also a copy of the certificate is issued back to the user who has requested for a certificate. So these are the digital signature standards, that it uses a secure hash algorithm to generate the hash values for the data that cannot be forged by any unauthorized user. It condenses the message to 160 bits. That means it reduces the size of the message to just only 160 bit. That means it makes it very portable. Then the key size that is used in the digital signature is of from 512 bits to 1024 1024 bits. It is proposed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology in 1991, and it is a adopted method. That means the digital signature is generated for every user is different, so it is adopted in nature. That means you have the legal rights of using that digital signature while you are communicating over the web. These are some kind of different digital signatures for a particular person for different documents, such as for example I agree. For I agree, this is the digital signature that is generated. For my place of birth is Gwalior, this is the digital signature generated. I am a 62-year-old, this is the digital signature generated, and so on. That means for every message there is a different digital signature generated. Now let's move to the comparison of paper signatures and the digital signatures. So we will discuss about three parameters of a comparison, and the first one is authenticity. In paper-based signature, it can be forged, but in electronic signature, it cannot be copied because it is generated from a message using a secure algorithm, and that is an ununderstandable, unforgeable format. Second one is integrity. So in paper-based signature, independent of the document. As the signature is independent of the document, the integrity is not there of the document. But in electronic documents, signature depends on the content of the document. So data integrity is also ensured when received by the receiver. Third parameter is non-repudiation, that is non-denial by the sender of the document. In paper-based, to verify a signature, handwriting expert is needed to verify the signature, and so because it is a manual human based process, so errors can be there in the process. But in the electronic based system, in digital signatures, any computer can verify the digital signature having the public key of the user and the hash function that is defined for the message. So because it is a computer based technology, so there are no chances of any error in the process of signature verification. These are the challenges and opportunities related to digital signatures. The first one is institutional overhead. If you are implementing the digital signature technology in your communication process, so uh, the institute have to bear the cost of establishing and utilizing certification authorities. Second one is to maintain the repositories. Third one is the other services as well as assuring the quality in the performance of the functions. That means for these are the very some other added tasks that need to be performed by a particular institution. That means it is an overhead if you are implementing this technology. Second one is subscriber and relying party costs. If you are using the digital signature policies, then a digital signer will require a particular software to generate the digital signature and will have to pay a cost to the certification authority, because you have to obtain a certificate from the certification authority, and for that you have to pay a price. Also, you may need hardware to secure the subscriber's public key. If you do not use, then the security is less in the system, because the private key need to be protected. If the private key will be leaked over the network by an unauthorized user, then the digital signature can also be obtained uh, and can be misleaded in the communication process. These are various applications that are used, that are for the uses of digital signature. That means these are the various areas in which digital signature can be used. In electronic mails, you can use it. In data storage, in electronic fund transfer, online transfer of funds, smart cards, Mitranet, ISDN, in timestamp signature, in blind signatures, etc. So these are the advantages of digital signatures. Advantages are authentication. That means the identification of the person that signs the message. Second one is the integrity of the data. That means if some change is there in the data, if some modification is done by the unauthorized user, it will be detected at the receiving end. Third one is the non-repudiation. Non-repudiation is that it ensures that the sender of the message cannot deny of his work, of his document that he has created or sent. And the last one is the imposter prevention. Imposter is a unauthorized user or a hacker or attacker who accesses the resources over the web unknowingly, unauthorizedly. So it prevents the imposters and thus eliminates the possibility of committing any fraud during the communication process. As advantages are there for the technology, there are some drawbacks also. The first one is the private key must be kept in a secured manner. As we have discussed about the security, that you must need to maintain a hardware for the security of the private key. And if you do not secure the private key, then there is no use of digital signature in the process. So the private key must be kept secure. The second one is the process of generation and verification needs time, because it is a process that is done at both the ends, at the sender end and the receiver end. So it will require time for the generation of the digital signal at the sender side also and the at the receiver side also. So it is a time, there is a overhead of time. That means it will require some extra time during the communication process. And also for using the digital signature, the user has to obtain private and public keys, and the receiver has to obtain the digital signature certificate also, so that no dispute happens in between the sender and the receiver, because it is the legal approach to verify through a digital signature certificate. So this was all about digital signature, friends. If you find any difficulty or if any queries are there, you can contact me on my contact details, no problem in that. Till then, thank you very much. Have a nice day.